everyone! It's your girl Sam from Sisters at Heart. Today I'll be showcasing an interview that I conducted with Sam, otherwise known as Sams.freedom on Instagram. She usually updates her recovery process from eating disorder and mental illness on her page, and that in itself is really inspiring and brave. And today we're so lucky to be able to talk to her about mental illness and the stigma surrounding it. And we really learned a lot more about one's thought process, one's feelings and emotions as they go through such a recovery process. And we're so thankful to her for sharing such an intimate part of herself. And she really answered the questions with such maturity and insight. So if you're interested to find out more, definitely do keep on watching. And without further ado, let's get on to the interview. Name one experience that made you feel gratified for starting your Instagram page.
I'm not sure that there's just one because I'm just so thankful for all of the different. So I guess I receive messages from people all around the world, mostly young people who have struggled with similar situations. And they tell me that I give them hope for their own recovery and hope that they will one day overcome their struggles too. And I think I received one message from a 14-year-old girl who was really struggling with an eating disorder, and she hadn't told her parents. But when I talked to her, she was able to tell her parents that she had an eating disorder and was able to start treatment. So that was really cool. And I think just getting any of those types of messages where I inspire them to work on their own journey.
Actually, in your personal experience, let's say sharing such an experience with your family members, was it difficult to let them know?
For me, my family found out not by my choice, if that makes sense. My teachers actually intervened and called my parents, and then through that I was brought to the doctor. So it wasn't really my choice to tell them. But once I did, it was totally fine. Like, they were very supportive, and like my mom stopped working in order to care for me, and they've been the best parents to have in this situation. And I remember one of the times being in hospital, the nurses had to tell them to stop coming so much, that they were coming too frequently. So
Okay,
yeah,
it's like super nice to hear that you have really supportive parents. Because
yeah,
usually, like, I think parents play a very big role. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
My parents are divorced, and my dad's a little different. I think it's just because he doesn't understand at all. And I have two little sisters. So when I became sick, he kind of just pushed me away because he wanted to protect my little sisters. And so my younger sisters don't know anything about my struggles. They came to visit me in hospital once, but they thought it was boarding school. And like I'm not allowed to tell them about my struggles, which is super difficult because, well, not now, but in the past, it's just been such a huge part of my life, and to hide that from my closest family members, I didn't feel very good about that. So that's something I'm working on.
But I think one day, maybe possibly when they grow up, definitely this is something that they will learn about and they'll be exposed to when
Yeah,
like when they get on
yeah,
social media or, I think it's a bit tough when you're struggling alone without the support of family
hmm,
members. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So, but your
Like
mom is really supportive
when
and
they grow up,
helpful.
I know
Mm-hmm.
that when they grow up, I'll be like, I want to be, and that's one of my motivations for recovery is just to be the best role model for them I can be. And
Mm.
knowing that mental illness runs in our family and mental illness is prevalent in teenagers and teenage girls, like, I know that when they meet their struggles, I can tell them, you don't know this, but when I was your age, I really, really struggled, and I was able to get to the other side, and I can really help them with that.
Mm.
So I'm working on being the best role model for them.
Okay, that's really nice to hear. Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
No
Um,
problem.
okay, so moving on, what are some of the events in your life that make you who you are?
Um, I would say, so when I was in elementary school, I was bullied pretty severely. and that really challenged my confidence. And so that might be one of the contributors to my struggles with body image and self-esteem. Um, and then a more positive one was I auditioned for an art school for grades 7 and 8, and then 9 to 11, and I got in. So I absolutely loved being at the specialty art schools. The people who were in my classes are still friends that I'm still best friends with them today. Like my best friend, I met her at in grade 7 at this art school and stuff. And it was a positive environment, and so that really changed who I was. And I would have loved to stay at Etobicoke School of the Arts, which is the one that I went for 9 to 11, but because of my illnesses, I had to drop out. But yeah, that was an amazing thing.
Like what kind of art was it? Is it visual arts or like
Um,
music or
I was in the dance program,
oh,
so I was a dance
that's
major.
cool.
But they had dance, drama, visual arts, musical theater, film, and drama.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. Yeah, because I also dance. Yeah, I do contemporary. Do you do contemporary dance or
Yeah.
modern? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because usually you can express the way you feel through dancing as well. I think that's a good platform to express yourself. But
Yeah.
talking about friendships and how your friends actually helped you, do you think that having an environment that nurtures you and people that surround you are not making you feel insecure in any way, that's really important to um, making you feel less insecure, right?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
When you're surrounded by those who lift you up, um, and who are all just very happy to be there and happy that you're there, no matter the circumstance, I think that's one of the things about the art school is that everyone was happy that you were there and was very supportive. And I remember, like, especially with middle school, we were all just one big family. And that was nice. Currently I go to a different private school, and it's not the same environment. But yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Uh, so moving on. Um, so you have previously suffered from depression and anorexia, as you mentioned on your Instagram and in your questionnaire also, but have since left those days behind. So, what was the toughest part of the illness to overcome?
One of the toughest parts of my illness to overcome was probably the connection between my eating disorder and body image struggles. My body image is still something that I'm working to improve. Although I have come a long way, I still do have some work to do. And I think that's one of the things and for a lot of people who suffer from eating disorders, the body image aspect is the last one to go. So although I have repaired my relationship with food and my mood is so much better, the body image is still lingering, and I think that's been one of the hardest things to deal with. Yeah, and a lot of people who have suffered from eating disorders think that eating the food is the hardest hurdle to pass. But once you begin eating again, and that once you begin eating, they think that you're all better. But in reality, yes, refeeding is hard, but the mental struggles that come after are a whole new type of struggle.
I think I sort of,
Makes sense.
yeah, I think I sort of like understand where you're coming from. It's because the way you see your body and the way you're exposed to the media and media's portrayal of the perfect photoshopped body, that is
Mm-hmm.
so conditioned in your system and in your mindset that it's a bit hard to get over and overcome.
Yeah.
Even today, when I'm more used to looking at the media and like becoming less affected, but it definitely still affects you in some way or another, right? Like when you,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I think definitely from what I can take away from what you said, it's still a process that you have to go through. You're still,
Yeah.
you're still growing and growing to
Yeah.
love yourself.
Yeah.
What thoughts were running through your head then, and what were you feeling during the time when you were struggling with your illness? Yeah.
So my struggles with body image and my eating disorder really took a toll on my mental stability. I truly believed that I'd be better off dead than living in the body I was. And that obviously has some very destructive outcomes. Um, I was thinking, I guess, when I was first starting to struggle with my eating disorder, I thought that I was being healthy. I thought that the less food you ate, the healthier you were. And that I was angry at the doctors because I didn't see anything wrong. And I thought that they were blowing this out of proportion and that I was fine. Um, and then once I got a little further along in treatment, I realized that no, I did have a problem and kind of worked to embrace the recovery process. But I just remember feeling, especially with my depression, because I suffered from depression before I suffered from my eating disorder, and then the depression has continued. I just remember feeling so alone because I didn't feel like I could talk to those around me. And it's not that they weren't there, it's just that I was embarrassed and ashamed and afraid. So I didn't talk to anyone. And so that meant that I was in a really lonely process. And it was just such a dark and scary place. And yeah.
Did any specific event or something happen that triggered you to finally feel like you were able to share this with someone?
I think so. The first time I told my parents about my struggles with self harm, it wasn't by my choice, but I knew that it needed to be done. I actually have a twin brother, and he knew because he had seen it. And he came into my room one day and he's like, Sam, you need to tell mom and dad about this. And so he brought me upstairs and he made me tell them. And then I was kind of able to tell what was going on. And then, especially going through treatment with an eating disorder, I didn't tell my parents when I was originally struggling because I didn't want to get in trouble. But then, as I started treatment, I was able to really open up to my mom because I was like, she already knows. I might as well just know everything. And I guess going through treatment, I've become so much better at opening up about the thoughts and feelings I'm having and my experiences. And especially with mental health advocacy, I'm so much more open now. And yeah.
Usually when you would feel like you're very alone and you feel like you have this fear of sharing it with other people, do you think that if more people are able to get past that stage, they can be on their road to recovery much sooner, right? Usually it's overcoming the fear of sharing it with someone. Because when they keep it to themselves, harbor all these negative thoughts alone, it's what makes it so difficult for them to go through, right?
Yeah.
So, but actually, why exactly do you feel you would get in trouble if you let your parents know about it? What sort of thought process did you have?
I think that I was looking at what I was doing and I knew that it wasn't something I was supposed to be doing, and that
Did you feel that you
they
were
would
at
get.
fault for it? Did you feel that there
Yeah,
was something
yeah, I
wrong that
thought
you
that it
did?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was my fault, and that they, because I had read those horror stories of parents blowing up and being so unsupportive, and I was afraid and I really don't like being yelled at, so I was afraid that that was going to happen. Um, and I thought I would get in trouble because, again, it's not something I'm supposed to be doing. This is, yeah. And
But then if you felt that that was your fault, did you feel that you could control those thoughts?
no, not at all. My thoughts were very out of control and vicious and all those. It was just, and especially dealing with anxiety, it was just, I couldn't control those thoughts. And I guess that's why I came to the point to opening up to my parents, because it got to a point where I was just so consumed and I couldn't control it, and it was really, really impacting my life and my ability to do anything.
Okay. I think I understand it a bit better now. Okay, so moving on, looking back to before you started recovery, where did you think you would end up now? Yeah.
Okay. So while I was sick, I like at first I didn't believe. Well, at first I believed that I made it. I remember when I entered treatment for my eating disorder, the doctors said, "Okay, the average recovery time of an eating disorder is 5 to 7 years." And I was like, this was in October. October 2013, and I was like, no, I'm gonna be fine by May. Like, I'm gonna get over this really quick. Obviously, that it doesn't work like that. But then when I was sick after that, so like once I was starting recovery, but I was also really, really sick, I didn't believe that I would make it. I was convinced that I wasn't going to be alive past a few years. And yeah, so I guess when I first became sick, I believed that everything would be fine, that I could sustain my illness and continue to excel in school. I believed that I would be a full-on doctor by age 25 and do all of these amazing things. So I guess I never believed that I would be able to fully recover from my eating disorder. I saw a future, but that was a future with my illness. And I thought that I could excel while still being sick. And then as I got sicker, I realized that no, that's not going to work. And then I was like, and then with my depression and stuff, I really didn't think I was going to make it the next few years. I thought I was going to pass away. And yeah, I definitely didn't think that I'd get to the point where I am right now of being still having my struggles, but learning to cope with those struggles and being able to share my story with others and live my life, doing amazing things, going to school, working. I'm going to university in September, and yeah.
And how does your current self see yourself 10 years from now?
Well, I would like to be finishing up university. So in 10 years' time, I'd like to just be finishing up university, moved out on my own, have my own place and my own dog. I really, really want to get a dog within the next 2 or 3 years. So I want to have my own dog and may or may not have a partner. I guess it's weird to think that in 10 years I'll be 30. So I don't know. So yes, I would like to be done school, have some sort of job, maybe starting to have kids. Yeah, I guess all that. It's weird to think because 10 years doesn't seem like a super long time for me, but then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be 30. Like, people who are 30 are married and have kids, and oh my goodness.
Yeah, actually I sort of understand the feeling. Like this sense of uncertainty and not knowing like where you end up in the future, and
Yeah.
just thinking that in a few years' time everything will be different. And yeah, but it's okay. Like this is part of life, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too worried. And like, I'm just taking it day by day. And I'm also preparing for the future. But I'm not putting a lot of emphasis on the future right now. I'm just being very mindful, focusing on what I need to do right now so that I can reach my goals later in life. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to go. What small gesture from a stranger made a big impact on you?
A stranger. Trying to think. I think there was. Just thinking.
If
I don't
stranger's
know.
too hard, it could be anyone in your life then.
Yeah. Well, I think just every day. Okay, so she's not a stranger. She's my family physician, um, and she made a big impact on me just in terms of my recovery. She was not my recovery doctor. She was my family doctor, so she didn't deal with any of my, even though she's my family physician, she didn't deal with any of the medical aspects of the eating disorder. I had a different doctor for that. So I don't really see her very often unless it's for like a flu shot or something like that. And I remember I went in to get my flu shot, and it was like a couple months ago, and she sat me down and she's like, Sam, this is what you're supposed to look like. I was like, what? And she's like, you look happy, you look healthy. This is what you're supposed to look like. Because she was the first doctor that I was taken to when I was first diagnosed with anorexia. And then I didn't see her, and she didn't treat me. So, I mean, I've restored my health greatly, and my mood has totally improved. So, and for some reason, that comment really was exactly what I needed. And I'm not too sure why, but she just said, Sam, this is what you're supposed to look like. And I think in my mind it clicked that, yes, this is what I'm supposed to look like. And I know she's not a stranger, but that simple comment really helped me.
Like it just sort of reminded you of how far you've come and how much progress you've
Yeah.
made. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember another stranger on my Instagram page. I posted something that wasn't about transformation or like how far I've come or anything. And I posted something, and then they commented saying, look how far you've come. And I wasn't expecting to get that. And then it made me think, like, yeah, I have come very far. And that comment from that stranger was like, I was happy that other people were recognizing it, and it made me recognize how far I've come and that I should be proud of myself.
Okay, I think the next question is actually pretty similar. Did you ever imagine getting to where you are today?
I don't think so. And yeah, I'm not really sure if. No, I don't think so. To be honest, like I never thought that I would be happy. And I never thought that I would be truly happy and excited for life. And yes, maybe I did think that, oh, excuse me, maybe I did think that I would recover from my eating disorder. I think I had confidence in myself for that, but the happiness piece, is really the one that I didn't imagine that I would get to here. And just mood-wise.
Actually, since this question was sort of answered, do you mind if we backtrack a bit to something that you said just now? Like you also
Sure.
mentioned that you went through bullying when you were young, and this sort of had an effect on as you were growing up and you were diagnosed with the illness. Do you mind going into more detail on how it affected you?
Okay. So yeah, my bullying started in 3rd grade and lasted till 6th grade. That is a crucial time in a child's life to socially and maturity-wise and confidence-wise, and I think anyone at that age is a little afraid of, am I going to make friends? Am I pretty enough? And that kind of stuff. And the bullying that I went through really destroyed my confidence. And after that, I became very shy. I was unsure. I was scared of making friends. And like one of the concrete examples would be that I used to sing in front of my friends all the time, but now I don't. And I stopped singing after that because the girl who was bullying me kept telling me that I have a bad singing voice, and it's just those confidence things really disappeared, and I didn't believe that I was worthy of being a friend to anyone. And it also hurt I think it in turn hurt my body image because, again, that's just another form of confidence, and the girl that bullied me was very, very thin. And so I thought, well, people like her, she's successful, she doesn't like me. Maybe it's because I'm not thin. And I think there was just a lot of that. And it was really just affected my confidence in terms of who I am as a person and my ability to be around people.
Do you think that there are steps that can be taken to stop all these situations from happening? Because when you're young, you're impressionable, and sometimes the words that young kids say also have a very, very large impact on the victim as they're growing up. Yeah, so do you think that there's anything that can be done to stop this? Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, bullying is in kids' natures, and that's not something that's easily changed because it happens no matter the influence. It happens all over cultures and families and that kind of stuff. I think maybe some of the things which I think are good right now, is that they're doing the bullying prevention in elementary schools, and I don't know a lot about what they're doing in the schools right now, but I know that they're working really hard to combat bullying.
Okay. What is your favorite thing to do when you get time to yourself? Are you the kind of person that craves movement or would much rather chill at home?
I'd rather chill at home, to be honest. When I do have time to myself, I like to watch YouTube videos. I spend a lot of my time doing that. So generally, if I have time to myself, where I don't have any homework or anything, I'll clean my room. Like, I love dusting and wiping things down, like really deep cleaning my room while watching YouTube videos. I think that's super fun. And then also I have an agenda that I do planning, and I have a whole bunch of stickers and washi tape. So I love to plan out the week and get really creative with that. Yeah.
Okay, so you're more of an organized person, like a planner
Yeah.
kind. Mm, have you ever thought about this smaller movement that is body positivity as part of a larger movement that is feminism?
I definitely think so. Body positivity is for everyone, and I think it's also a way for women to reclaim their bodies and I think some of the values of feminism and some of the values of body positivity really align. And I think the body positive movement is just part of the grander switch of people being nicer to themselves and to each other, and just celebrating who we are as people and for our differences. And I think feminism and body positivity and all about that, they're all moving towards that same goal.
Because actually body positivity also extends beyond just our body size or anything. It also crosses into race, ethnicity, and our sexuality, and all these other things as well, right? Do you think that there's enough diversity in the influences for body positivity?
I definitely think in terms of body types, there's a lot of diversity. I don't see as much body positivity spread amongst different religions or races, which I definitely think is something that needs to be shared. So just people of different cultures seeing themselves, because right now you have all different body types being shown. And I think it would be great if we could incorporate more more variety in the body positivity in terms of ethnicity and religion and all that kind of stuff. Body positivity, there is a few activists who suffer from disabilities, so whether it be wheelchairs or amputations, and I think that is super cool. I think we need to see, ultimately, I think we need to see more men in the body positive community. Right now it's mostly women, but men play such a vital role in the body positive community, and there are only a few right now, and so I definitely think that more men should join, and they could really, really help with this community.
Actually, why do you think that this community is mostly female? Why is that so?
I think just the simple answer is probably just that statistically more women suffer from body image issues than men do. That's not saying that all men don't suffer. It's just the percentage of women to men is much higher when it comes to body image struggles. And also when you're seeing a whole bunch of women in the community, it might be intimidating to join as a man because you feel like you're going to be the only one. And it takes a lot of confidence to join a community where you are not represented yet. And if there were more men, I'm sure more men would come join, but right now, because it's so dominated by females, it will be I assume that it's hard for males to want to join because they see all these women and they're like, this is a women's thing, which it's not. And so, yeah, I think there are a variety of factors that lead to that. And it's just, hopefully this will change. I would love to see more men in the community, and I know that I've done some pieces on men and their struggles, offering statistics and that kind of stuff, because it's important that we recognize men have struggles too, and eating disorders they don't discriminate against race, sexuality, gender, and otherwise. It's just, it is. And most people think that body image struggles and eating disorders are only for females, and that's not true.
Actually, like the reason you sort of had the courage to enter into this body positivity community was also because you were inspired by other people who are already in it, right? Yeah, and many people in the community now are actually pushing for media like TV and social media to have a larger representation of people who are of different shapes and sizes. But don't you think that instead we should be educating girls to be less affected by the media? Yeah, because it's something that it's something that's intrinsic and inside you.
Yeah.
So which do you think is more important? Teaching girls to be less affected by the media, or pushing for more diversity in the media? Yeah.
I think at the same time doing both, because the media is not going to go anywhere. Even if we teach girls to pay attention less to it, that's in a way unrealistic, because there's always going to be the media. Girls are always going to be exposed to it no matter what we teach them, and by teaching them to be less focused, as well as amping up the diversity and realisticness if that's a word, in the media, I think that will have the best effect, because if you only changed the media, then you're still going to have some of the issues, and if you only changed how we teach
mindsets of the girls,
then that won't have as much of an effect.
Lastly, this is a bonus question. How do you hope you'll change as a person in the future?
I hope that I will continue on my journey to loving myself, and I hope that eventually I can fully and wholeheartedly accept my body the way it is, and really get that confidence back that I had when I was a child, and see my own beauty for what it is. That no, I may not be the typical model, and I'm still pretty in my own way. Everyone is gorgeous in their own way. So yeah, I just hope that in the next couple of years I continue to grow and expand upon my own self-love journey, remain eating disorder free, and really focus on my happiness and helping other people through sharing my story, and then going to university and really beginning that life that I've always wanted of furthering my education, helping people, and building a life for myself.
Okay, that sounds great.
So that brings us to the end of the video. Did you guys enjoy it, and did you guys learn anything from it? If you would like to leave any comments, or if you have any opinions or thoughts about the video, do leave it in the comment section below, or follow us on our Instagram page, we.r.sistersatheart, to let us know more about what you think about our video. We are really thankful to Sam for sharing with us such difficult times and such personal feelings and thoughts. I think it would really help a lot of people. So once again, thank you, Sam. So I guess we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!